At Icon Collective, we truly believe that only artists with unmatched determination go on to become legendary, regardless of where they begin.
So at Icon Collective, our philosophy has always been to empower artists, to not just teach people technical skills, but how to live a life as an empowered artist and how to make a name for yourself in the music industry.
Icon's also been a standard for being true to yourself, the artist that you've always wanted to be.
I notice when it comes to music, people are scared of making the wrong choice, so they just don't make a choice. And not making a choice is the most detrimental thing you could do to have a career in music.
People will be telling you it's not what you should be doing, but without taking that risk, you're never going to be able to achieve that reward.
We have a lot of really amazing courses here at Icon Collective, and one that I'm particularly fond of is called The Artist Mindset. And it's such an amazing class because, first off, it's unlike anything that's taught in any other music institution. It's kind of like a philosophy class for creative people. We turn off our laptops, we turn off our phones, and it's more just open discussions and talking about getting into creative flows, breaking through creative blockages, and how to stay motivated, really, as an artist, being able to carry on when times get tough and when writer's block strikes. How do you work through that? And how do you turn something like this into your career?
As you embark on your creative journey, know that this is just the beginning. At Icon Collective, we will guide you to your full potential, fast track your goals, and take your artistry to the next level.
Microphone check. Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. My microphone sounds nice. Welcome back to the Artist Mindset Workshop. I'm Demetri Green. I'm kicking it with some friends today. I'm kicking it with Chevy B and Petey Clicks. We got a special guest today. We will get to that in a second. We will get to that. Just no sweat. We're gonna give you the proper introduction. All right. What's so funny? What's so funny? Trust me. Can I give our guest a proper introduction?
Yeah.
Like, okay, dang. All right.
When we get to it.
All right. Yeah. Come on, man. Calm down.
In a second.
Hey, let me do my intro, Petey. No. Okay. You already know we're at Icon Collective, where you started, no finish, legendary. Pop into the Zoom. We'll be giving away a sample pack at the end. But welcome Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and Zoom, and YouTube. I'm sorry. See, I'm off my game today, Petey. Thanks. Thank you all the returning people. We love y'all. And now to our special guest.
Yes.
One of our own,
Mr. Chaz.
Chaz.
Hello,
Treehorn. What up?
Yes.
How we doing? Thanks for having me.
AKA
on the,
Madoka.
AKA Madoka.
Yes.
Correct.
One of our best instructors, I would say.
Wow.
Top 3.
Top 3?
Wow.
Top
Honored.
1.
Ooh.
Let's be honest.
The best in the building?
I was talking about
Holy
myself,
cow.
but Chaz is close, man.
Chaz, how many GOAT awards have you won?
No goats?
You get donuts?
Not one.
You know, there's another quarter coming up.
That's all right.
I happen to pick the GOAT, so
All right. Well, we're kicking off at the Artist Mindset with a great energy today. I love it. Again, stick to the end where we get a free sample pack. Let's talk about what's going on campus. The Nightmare Scholarship has been announced.
It did. Yeah. Thanks to everyone who waited patiently. We initially wanted to announce the winner in January, but if you were paying attention to the world, LA was on fire for a while.
yeah.
That put a big wrench in things.
Yeah.
Affected a lot of Icon people, some of Tyler's people. So we got a little backed up, but we did get the announcement out. Super excited to welcome 3 amazing artists to the collective over the next year.
That's crazy.
And and we have a little recap video, the announcement video that will play right now.
In partnership with Icon Collective, we are offering 3 full ride scholarships.
Hi Icon, I'm Sibi.
I'm Diana, aka Saidi from Mexico.
Hey, I'm Dominic. For me, music has always been more than just a pastime.
I want to express myself through my music and create a place of comfort and safety.
This isn't just a dream, but it feels like what I'm meant to do.
I'm not here to follow the path. I'm here to create a whole new one.
I do have another admissions rep just getting off a call. They'll be joining us in just a minute here.
Oh my god. I am not an admissions person. I'm here to say you won. Congratulations.
Oh my god.
Man, this is the dream come true.
Thank you so much for believing in my project. I'm a huge fan. I just can't believe this.
Sheesh. That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Big shout out to everybody who participated and the winners. Congrats. Welcome to the Icon family. We can't wait to see you here.
I wish that this existed when I was a kid.
Yeah.
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 I was thinking about the whole scholarship thing. It was definitely something I would have gone for.
Yeah, that was kind of, I mean, that's really the genesis of everything we decide to do here is like,
Straight up.
what would I have wanted when I was studying or coming up, or what would be amazing, you know?
Yeah. It's cool to see it all happen. I'm from a small town, you know. So is Chaz.
Me too.
You know?
I say that multiple times a week.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had this condensed year of information and learning in community.
Right?
It would save me 5 years.
That's what I say. 5 years in the mom's basement is like 1 year at Icon. You know, condensed together.
I'll kick it up to 10, dog.
Could be. Especially before YouTube, you know, just banging your head on the wall trying to figure it out.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Nightmare just announced his 10 years of Night. He graduated from Icon 10 years ago.
Wow.
Started the Nightmare project and obviously has done really well for himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's touring the world, playing all the festivals, making great music. Some of the collab, that guy collabed with everybody.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like his Spotify has certainly way more people like collab tracks on it than just his solo stuff.
That's cool.
But he just released a book.
Wow.
Like a physical book that chronicles his whole 10 years. And so
that's cool.
Yeah, in tandem with that, he graciously provided for 3 full ride scholarships and went through all of the submissions, and we got on Zoom and surprised some people, and it was a good time, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those videos are so exciting, you know.
Yeah.
The reveal.
Yeah, the reveal's fun.
I ain't gonna lie, I had chills watching that video.
It's fun.
Just
it's
goosebumps.
Yeah, just seeing people's lives like really about to change.
Yeah.
You know, a creative's life, I guess you could say, and just, you know, starting off their journey and something that they've wanted for, and to see the kickoff, it gave me chills because I know if they really put their head down and really take it for what it is.
That's right.
I mean, they'll have a career guaranteed.
It's wild because I usually call them we'll tell them like, hey, there was an issue with your submission. We need to meet with you to discuss a few things. Can you
toy
hop on
with
a Zoom
them?
call? Yeah. And then
That's cold.
put Nightmare in the waiting room on Zoom, and then I say some really boring stuff like, so I understand you're outside the country. Do you have do you have connections inside the country you're going to be able to transition? That just boring stuff, and then
talk real slow.
Yeah, go like, oh, my other admissions rep is here. I'm going to bring him in and pop Tyler in, and their faces go.
Wow. Y'all should have pyro.
Well, I have a little laser background that goes on
That's
behind
pretty
me.
cool.
You know, that's the best
The
I can do on
CO2
Zoom.
cannon.
Yeah.
What if he was like headlining a stage? He was like, "Oh hey, like,
Yeah,
welcome to Icon." Oh,
sheesh. Yeah.
So
Nightmare announcement. Good. Glad.
Yeah.
When are they starting?
they have they can choose up to the next year. They can start anytime in the next year.
That's so cool.
Yeah. But we have the Slander guy here. He's a level 2 right now.
We have
from the Slander
We have two of the Slander
Two of the
winners
Slander
here.
winners
yeah.
here,
And
yeah.
then the third winner is starting next quarter.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, John is one of them.
Yeah, John and Milo.
Yeah, Milo. And,
I can say John was my mentee last quarter. He's very grateful. He's very stoked, and he is grinding.
That's
all
awesome.
the time.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Love
It's
to
cool
hear it.
see all that in here. It's wild.
What else we got?
So open mic was
mic.
last night.
Yeah,
on campus.
I heard that went really well.
Let's we got the clip. We don't no clip.
No clip.
No, we don't have a clip.
No clip. Okay.
We didn't get one.
So we had some students. We have some
Yeah, and
instructors
some
too.
instructors and some admissions people. I heard Orion got up in there.
Oh, missions too. See?
Yeah, man, Russ was in there.
Yeah, so like once a quarter we do this open mic. Students, staff, whoever wants to get on the list, you know,
it's fun.
Go up and perform, sing, play guitar, get a band up there.
I'm gonna do my beatboxing next time.
Are you?
I'm pretty good.
That?
Yeah. Don't worry.
Do we hear that?
But yeah. No, it's good. You got first time's free, but I'm gonna charge for the next one.
I'm just thinking about how that an open mic showcase students, instructors, admissions.
It's a big vibe builder.
I mean, it's like if this ain't the greatest music production school in California, I
That's
mean,
right.
on the West Coast, I don't know what.
How about the whole world?
world? Petey is trolling me today, and I don't know what I did to this man.
Hey, no, it's okay. I'm just making jokes, you know.
Cool.
I'm the comic relief out here. I'm R2, you're C3PO.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. For now. Industry news. All right, let's talk about it. We love Coachella. I mean, I think every student here wants to play Coachella.
Absolutely.
And the first news is they are expanding to add 50 plus more acts to the Do Lab stage.
Wow.
Whoa.
So this is huge for independent artists.
Yeah.
And maybe for somebody who thinks they don't have a chance to play Coachella or they're not even
Right.
close. You know what? Shoot. They
Like-
are expanding.
You know, they didn't really have a Doolabby kind of. Have they done Doolab there before? I've never been to Coachella.
It's expanded pretty much every year.
It just
I
gets
feel like
bigger
it's
and
a bigger and
bigger
bigger
and
stage every year.
I've been to Doolab stages in other festivals, but I didn't know if
Hmm.
they were at Coachella because they have a Lightning in the Bottle stage and a
Yeah,
bunch
it's like
of
an
stuff
art
that.
production
Yeah.
company that produces and curates a stage and lineup separate from the main Coachella
Yeah.
production thing.
But they have some more like eclectic tastes, I think, a little more
Yeah.
bass music-y and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, a little more experimental.
It's always a mix. You get a lot of experimental electronic music, but also last year, Billie Eilish
Wow.
did a surprise set. James Blake, if not the year before, like they always bring out some
We love James
heavy
Blake.
hitters.
Our buddy James Blake, we've been talking
We
about him
talked about James
nonstop
Blake a
on
lot.
this show.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, his crusade against the music industry. We've been kind of covering that step by step as he's been. But we love James Blake.
big fan.
Yeah.
There's no limit to our love for James Blake.
No,
That was a James
my
Blake
God.
joke.
Oh my God.
That was really
There you
good.
go.
That was
There.
quick.
Great
Great job.
I'm about to find my red coat. I couldn't make that into a joke. That's Anyway.
Yeah, but that's that's kind of a cool thing. I mean, like as if Coachella wasn't big enough.
right.
Right.
Yeah. I've only played like parties in Palm Springs around Coachella. I've never actually been to Coachella.
Okay.
Splash House, all that stuff. They have like a million like ring parties out there, but
Splash House is really cool. I've
it
been there once.
is. It is. That one's wild. But yeah, I've never been to Coachella. I've heard it's really cool though. I kind of want to go.
It's fun. You
Well,
should go.
I'm not much of a big festival person anymore, but maybe that'll change my mind.
Why don't we all go? 4 of us
Yeah.
get passes.
Are we camping?
We're camping.
Okay.
Camping.
See, that's where
Yeah,
you lose
see, that's
me.
what I'm saying. I don't want to camp. I need a hotel room and then
Facts.
yeah.
Last time I did camping, a camping festival was Dirty Bird. That was rough.
It was Shambhala for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I like bathing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I've gone to Coachella the past 2 years, and we'll do both. We get an Airbnb and get the camping spot.
Something happened.
We lost
We lost
headphone
everything.
audio for some reason.
Uh-oh. Oh, there we go.
Okay,
there we go.
we're back.
All
We're
right.
back.
Hey. Just got to wiggle the cable.
It's one of those setups.
That's week 1 at Icon. Wiggle the cable.
Studio techniques. Week 1.
Studio techniques. Week 1. Wiggle the cable.
Q asking the question: does anybody have any info on how to apply to play at Coachella? Honestly, I can't answer that question. Q.
Yeah, it's called putting out music, man.
It's called
They'll come and find
and
you.
let them go. That's what I thought. I'm
Yeah.
like, Coachella kind of befriends you, right? You don't really befriend Coachella.
Yeah, like nobody's putting in an application and then landing a spot at Coachella.
And I think a lot of the stages kind of like do their own thing. Like I know the Yuma tent, like that's Kobe at Sound, and like the Factory 93
Okay.
crew, and they kind of like help pick the lineup.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that, you know. So each little part has their own stage managers and whatnot that pick. So
You just got to put out fire music
Yeah.
consistently
Yeah.
and potentially know somebody. I don't know.
your
But-
application is your music you've released.
Yeah, I mean the purpose, like Coachella's driver, is getting as many people to buy tickets as possible, and so you need to be somebody who's going to bring people in to see you to get on those stages.
Your brand has to be something recognizable.
Yeah.
Well, you just got to have a certain stature, I think.
It's
gotta
it's
have
a
a big
it's
song.
a 5 to 10 year plan, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you're playing shows, building up the capacity of venues you can sell out or play yourself, and
Totally.
then getting to a place where Coachella is offering you a spot.
Yeah.
Because it's really about hard tickets.
It
really.
is.
There really is the game as hard tickets.
Yeah. It's the whole money in the whole industry's moved over there,
Mhm.
It's not like streaming's paying us, so people are demanding more for their performances.
I just posted something crazy on my story. It was just the new stats about how much streams yield or how much money a million streams yield.
It's good news, right? It's gotten higher.
Oh, stop. Stop.
They increased it, right?
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
Straight bear market over here.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to that, I think we're under $2,000 now for like
For a
on
million
YouTube.
streams,
Yeah, we're definitely
My
like
rent is
1,400.
more than that, so
2,000 for a million, you said?
Yeah, it's less than
Wow.
that.
yeah.
What? I thought it was 0.003 was the new low.
No, it's even lower. It's more bears now.
Wow.
Good news.
Good news.
That's dope.
Good news.
Ken says the Prodigy's playing Coachella this year. That's thick.
That's sick.
Fire.
I was watching a bunch of videos about that dude this week, actually.
Really?
Liam under something, but yeah, he's wild.
Coincidence that you bring up Prodigy. I was with a friend over the weekend, an artist named Night Punk. He's he's opening for the Prodigy
Sick.
2 nights in San Francisco in like a month or two. He was very, very stoked.
That's something. Who wouldn't be stoked?
I like that guy's music.
He's great. He's
Super cool.
He's a super talented, really great producer.
One of our alumni, Koya, when he went to Japan, he went with him as his translator and opened some of the shows and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Right on.
You guys know Koya?
Yeah.
I love Koya. Yeah.
He
Alumni.
hangs around a lot.
He's here all the time.
Yeah.
I was talking to him about his Japan trip for
Yeah.
like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Ask him about Koya, man.
I just might.
Yeah. Ask him about Koya. But that's exciting about the Prodigy. I'm a huge Prodigy fan. Super big Prodigy fan. Love Prodigy.
Just following up with Q here, he's saying maybe like a booking agent or a promotion agency or something. The thing is,
I don't even think those will help you in the sense of Coachella.
well, no, yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to be able to like knock on Coachella's door and go, "Hey, put my buddy in."
In fact, it's like they're all fighting for that. Like that's like the big trade show of all the agents and managers.
Right,
It's like
correct.
who gets on Coachella. So they're all like desperately hoping, that their
Right.
artist gets picked and stuff. But like I don't think anybody's like, "Hey Coachella, you need to book my artist." Like it just doesn't
Yeah.
work like that.
And then I mean, like taking a step further to get a booking agent or a promoter or like a publicist, you need to have been playing shows and generating interest and followership and
Absolutely.
That's where I'm at. I'm like, how you going to get a booking agency if you don't even have
Yeah.
that?
There's unfortunately no secret, fast way to getting
There
booked at
really
Coachella.
isn't. And Q, I love seeing you in here, man. Keep coming back. I just put that energy and that fire into your music all day, every day, and then that'll start to become the thing that attracts people one way or another.
Absolutely.
I think in most experience, like we were talking about the Pharrell documentary.
Totally.
Like he said, he and Chad Hugo just spent like 5 years just just ditching school, making beats every day, just stacking, stuff for years.
Annoying that A&R guy.
Yeah, annoying the A&R guy, right? Who just keeps like, yeah, whatever. And then finally, like, someone hears the magic and it starts to pop off,
That first song.
I've had that experience. Like, I had some reasonable success when I moved to LA. Well, I did the grind thing where you intern for free for a producer, and then you kind of like start making scratch, and then you start meeting clients, and then you start getting your own clients and making a little money. I did all that, and then I got offered a contract gig to produce an entire album, and it was for a somewhat reputable artist coming out on a reasonable label, and I was like, hell yeah, like, you're gonna put me on retainer for indefinitely to produce this record. Yeah, I'm in.
The dream.
Dream gig, right?
Dream.
Yeah, so I did that. It took like 2 years to finish the record and get it out, and in that 2 years, that's all I did because I was on retainer. The record came out. I'm still very proud of that record. I think it did well. I think it is a good record. It didn't do that well though. Like, the label didn't really do anything for it. We had write-ups, we had some publicity, we did a little traveling to kind of support it, but it didn't really like catch or anything like that. And I was kind of like going, I think this is my ticket. I'm going to put this record out. People are going to go, who produced that? And then they're going to see me and they're going to call me up and I'm going to be this, And then that didn't happen at all.
Yeah.
So then I come out of that contract gig. Now I'm like penniless, and also all of my freelance clients that I had been working with before all found other producers to work with while I was under a rock for 2 years.
Right.
So
the old bait and switch.
Yeah. So then I'm like back on the market, desperate for money and gigs, and I've got nothing. And there's a reason I started this story.
We were talking about Coachella, touring,
agents
and booking and brands
and booking and that stuff.
Getting to
I
a certain
know
point.
there was a connection to that. Oh, I was talking to Q about putting your passion. Okay, so
we're back on track.
We're back on track. So I didn't know what I was gonna do. I just knew I needed to do some. I just had to make music. I had to get a day job because I had to pay rent somehow. I got a day job down in El Segundo. I was driving an hour and a half in traffic there and an hour and a half in traffic back.
Sheesh.
Hating my life, 5 days a week being down there. But every night when I got home, I just pulled up the computer, started cranking on music. I had no idea who was going to hear it, what it was for, what it would do. I was like, I got to make it. I just got to do it. And I did that extremely intensely for like, I think it was probably like 9 months to a year. And then I based on a couple chance meetings I had with running into an old guitarist I knew or something like that, he mentioned, oh, there's a guy looking for a producer for some sync license gig. Let me put you in touch. And then because I had this catalog of stuff I had been working on for 9 months that I was really proud of, when I played that for, this producer, this songwriter guy, he was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is just what I've been looking for. And then that turned into a relationship. I got into the sync and licensing world and everything like flowered from there. But I just feel like both literally on a level of being prepared, being ready for when like the connection happened and came. And also I do feel like on a pseudo woo-woo spiritual level, just me just pushing as much energy and fire as I could into my music eventually like bore fruit.
Yeah.
Sometimes
if you're too desperate with what you want, other people can sense that.
That's true.
If you put out your album called I Really Want to Play Coachella, it might not work. But if you try to make the most beautiful and authentic music you can, it might definitely lead to that. My boss played Coachella. He played one of the big stages. I think it was the 25th year in his career. So
wow.
You said 25th?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, 25 years. I mean, come on. I mean,
it's yeah,
it's a slow cooker, but
totally.
That's
awesome to be committed
Yeah.
for that long. I've been having conversations both here and with friendships outside of Icon. I feel like a lot of people recently seeing like themes. They like have expectations to how their career should go, and they'll release 2 songs and they don't take off, and they're like, oh, I just don't know if this is the right thing. It's like you got to get a decade in before you start getting unsure. Like you have to love this.
And it's a hard place to create when like the approval of others depends on if it's good or bad to you.
Absolutely.
It can put you in a negative creative space, I think.
So fast and so easy.
Yeah.
Petey, that's crazy though, because that's seriously, I think, one of the biggest curses.
Yeah, yeah. Amon Tobin is like, he talks about how entertainment kind of depends on the approval of others and art kind of doesn't. That's like the dividing point for him, So he feels like, these thoughts of how do I make my art more palatable and stuff like that can really be like poisonous to the creative mindset.
That's interesting.
I think there's truth to that.
There is.
Yeah. I've definitely seen a lot of artists, students here too, who are so tied up and worried about like, is it going to be as good as this other artist that I like, or what DJ is going to play this if it's not in line with what they do, or ABC, some form of fitting into some other form factor. And I think that's cancerous.
It's rough.
That can mess you up.
I like to kind of have that 2 mindset, like create as one person and then kind of like edit and market and brand myself as another person, if that makes sense.
Crucial. I'm always just in my head, it's like a line at a factory. And one state, I'm this like insane artist person who's like staying up late, reading all day, like diving into like what really inspires me. And then I'm writing songs. And it goes down the line. Then I'm producing and mixing and cleaning up the vocals. And then I'm mixing. I'm sorry, I already said that. And then like mixing and mastering. And then I'm like, okay, how do I want to share this? And it's like always just different roles. Like if they're too a mesh, I kind of run into problems.
It's hard to be good at all that stuff as well. I mean, if we were born 30, 40 years ago, you would be a mixer or a songwriter or an engineer. You're one of those.
Master
and
of that
certainly
single
wouldn't,
thing.
You wouldn't be a videographer and a
marketer and all this stuff. Like it's kind of wild that we have to be a little bit okay at all of it to kind of make it happen.
I love it though.
Chaz, I'm interested in hearing more about your where your artist project comes from, Medaka, and what we were just talking about the concept of making music to fit a certain thing. I think a lot the music that you make is actually very unique and original and that kind of thing. Just tell us a little bit about like the genesis of your project.
Happy to. As of last month, Medaka turns 10.
Oh, wow. I
no sweat.
Said it wrong twice.
No sweat. Turns 10. Which is crazy.
You and Nightmare both.
Yeah. And I enjoy telling, students and just other like prospective producers and artists, this like for years I had so many other projects and so many of them failed. And I think a lot of times I was having an expectation of like where the music should be played, who's going to listen to it. Like I'm going to date myself, but like 10 years ago, what blogs would post about it. And I think for a long time, I just continued to, get 0 plays on anything and started Medaka. First song I uploaded did really well for the time. And it was just this like psychological shift where I was no longer concerned with the reception. Yeah. And it was something I just thoroughly enjoyed what I was making because I had kind of failed so many times that I was like, I don't know, I might as well just do what I really enjoy. Yeah. And so for my first release on SoundCloud, a track called Gotta Go, I don't resonate with it as much anymore because it's just from so long ago. I got posted by a lot of blogs and quickly got like 100,000 streams, like my first upload. And it sort of just was this very clear indication of like, oh, that's what you do. You don't worry about what other people think. And like, you can, I don't know, you can like.
Even predicting what you think the public is going to like can sometimes be completely off.
having
the
too
track.
rigid of an expectation of
Yeah.
what your art should be is a limitation most of the time.
Totally.
And it leads to the hardest disappointments.
I like what you
The
said
sharpest
about
disappointment.
like making music for you. Like make music like you're a billionaire,
Yeah.
and success doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know,
You have
like
to.
like it's not like the reception of it. Like if you can really make it for yourself, that's kind of the one thing you got on everybody else. Your own personal experience, and it's like, how did you? I guess through frustration, you ended up in that place where you just didn't care anymore. Because it's a hard breakthrough for a lot of people to make. Like, I need to make it for me.
I think it was because, I guess jumping back half my life, I had been like making music on my guitar, using a awful DAW called, I think, Crystal. It was like a free Audacity.
Never even
I've
heard
never
of it.
heard of that. How is there a DAW we haven't heard of?
I don't know how I even obtained it.
Was it Cakewalk, was it?
No. And then got into electronic production around 2011, I'd say.
Okay.
After hearing James Blake.
Oh, wow.
One of my earliest
Oh.
influences, James Blake, and then hearing also Skrillex.
Bangarang.
I was pretty quickly like, I'm going to investigate this and figure out what's going on here. And then from that point on, 2011 up until I launched Madoka in 2015 was like, I think 2 or 3 electronic projects. And I was always like, oh, these have to be like DJ friendly and they have to fit this genre and this tempo. And there were so many things going on in my head. And I eventually was like, all of this just keeps leading me to a place of disappointment, creative sacrifice or compromise, where I'm just like, is this even me? Or is this just like, am I trying to fit this thing? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to make this like really slow, moody electronic music. And it immediately worked.
Wow.
Right.
But that's always, I've come back to that so many times. Like there's been a number of songs where I've had that same sentiment where it's like, I am so excited about it and I'm certain it's going to fail. I'm like, no one's going to like this. This is too out there. And it's always the one that like resonates with people. The EP or like, the singles I have where I'm like, it's coming out with this label. So-and-so is going to market it. I have a budget. So I better adhere a little bit. I wouldn't say are failures, but they're just like not the most exciting.
Yeah.
It gets in my head sometimes where I have to realign myself and check myself and go, just have to be making the most creative and just like original art I can. Because otherwise, I mean, that's all I have is my expression. I can't control the other end of that.
You see, it's living proof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you just do what is natural and true to you, that stuff. That the thing is, it's like what we love about music. It isn't the synth that they used or the notes that are also typical to this genre. It's like that. This is you're hearing the artist's true intention. You know what I mean? Authenticity. Right.
Absolutely.
And that is actually what resonates with people beyond how loud their master is or whatever other umpteenth thing, like little variable that you might think it is in the marketing or the packaging or the finishing of it.
Yeah. And it's like, it's being able to kind of convey like that feeling or emotion with your music that other people are like, I've felt this before, like that's kind of the truth to it. And I think like the putting your own kind of feelings and your own emotions like into your art and like accurately kind of depicting the way you feel, even in, not pure happy or sad moments, but when you can make that kind of like gray music that really kind of describes how life really is for most people, I think that really attaches. And when you're mimicking something like that, like people can smell it.
Right.
So
I was just about to say that because it's like they smell it, but they don't even know it.
They're just like,
sometimes.
I don't like this.
They'll just disconnect subconsciously when you are trying to do something that they know is authentic. Like they know it even before you knew
like
it.
a child would know that there's something wrong with that song.
Right. It's an instinct. And so again, like when that genuine authenticity comes out, it makes your song unduplicatable.
Right.
And it also becomes it's a new level of respect, of appreciation for the art too. Which makes people become fans of it and want more of it.
You can't give people a lesser version of something they've already heard.
correct.
You have to have the like.
You're a poser.
Yeah, you have to just have the courage to go. I like this. This excites me. This is what I'm doing.
Right. And I like it this way. This is how I see it through my lens. This is how I blend the colors, given the colors that I currently have. Because we all have the same colors, right?
Yeah.
We all have the same notes, but it's all about the spacing. It's all about how we arrange it and how we see it through our lens, right? And you got to make sure that you, I guess, put it down in the same way that you see it.
Yep.
Chaz, do you have any techniques when you're in like a creative moment and you find those kind of thoughts coming in with how do I make my art more palatable, or when you're starting to get affected by the business aspect of the artistry when you're writing songs, what do you do?
I think at a certain point you realize music is referential. You're always at some point mimicking something you've heard.
Right.
And I think the way I like to think about it is like, that's okay. You should be doing that. That's how you understand music. That's how you get better. But as soon as you recognize that, just make a hard left turn into some other like direction that really excites you. For me, that's always like, I wrote this familiar vocal melody, but what if I just, applied like a crazy distortion where I have like a low sub doing some modulation to my voice? Like, how do I make this like the craziest processing I can? The melody is still like maybe this pop thing I heard, but I'm going to, at least of the last few years, 8 or 9, obliterate my vocal with distortion.
Hey, if it works, straight up. But that's interesting. You see, you're like, as soon as you recognize that you're referencing something, you're like, how am I going to be extra creative? Like, how am I going to recook this?
It's a tricky thing. You don't want to always be on defense. You don't want to always be changing something because you think it sounds like something else.
Totally.
If you think about that too much, there's something you can always point to. A great example, actually. I feel a little silly talking about myself, but it's a good example. I was in the studio a couple years ago, and I made this vocal technique, which is what I previously described, was like running a sub into a group with my vocal, K-clipping the group, and just obliterating my voice through like this really harsh clipped sound. It's effectively ring modulation. Too much to explain, but I was in the studio just like, oh, I'm cracked. This is crazy. Like, my God, no one can fucking touch me. This is the craziest thing. And I showed it to my friend. He's like, oh yeah, bro, that sounds like that Billie Eilish song. And I was like, what? And he played Zanny. It's the same effect.
Oh no.
I thought I made it. So at a certain point, if you're excited, if the metric is you're excited, you're in a good spot.
Yeah. For sure. Totally. For sure. I think it's hard for anything. I mean, there are songs that are accidentally copyright strikes because there's not that much in music that
there's 12 notes
that is so original. You know what I mean? Like chord progressions and a few melodies. It's very easy to mistakenly just absorb through your life at some point and then come out like with a song 30 years later, and then it was born out of your psyche. But you know what I'm saying? Like it happens. Speaking of which, one of the conversations we've had a lot on the show, Chaz, is around the ethical side of AI in music. And using using things that are maybe trained on other music and everything. So the question goes, do you think it's ethical for do you think these I gotta get this out right.
Pivoting hard,
but
let's get it. I love it.
Do you think it's ethical to let these AIs continue to train on like large models of music that's publicly available? Number one. And B, do you think that the people it was trained on should be compensated for music that was created with those AI generators?
No and yes, like 100%. It's not ethical without their consent, because I think people need to be paid for their work, and the money is there. It's just being moved to the people who have the AI software. The money should be dispersed to the the voices and songs that these models are being trained on. I am a very large AI rejecter.
Okay.
Okay. I've come around on a few things, but in a creative context, I feel like to get better at something, there's no reason to outsource creative thought. And I think a lot of times people will say like, you know, Suno can write a melody and I can figure out how to, you know, use this or interpolate it, or it's going to be this or that. And I just don't think at the core of music making, I don't know how that's useful. Like, unless we're thinking capitalistically.
Yeah.
To eventually sell this and make money. But if we just trace that back a little bit, it's like, why are you doing that? Music is self-expression.
Music. I mean, there are a lot of people in the industry who are not in it for the art.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Facts. 100%. Yeah.
What?
Huh? I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Wait. What? Yeah, absolutely. It's a tricky thing.
Yeah,
It's a funny thing. But I mean, also just to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Don't we all just train ourselves on other people's music? And if I listen to Chevy's whole catalog and make a Chevy album and then put it out, is that any different than an AI training?
Right, like
so.
all the music you've made, all the music I've made is influenced by what we grew up listening to,
by what you trained on.
By that nature, should I be selecting portion, or should there be an algorithm that selects like, oh, Stevie Wonder clearly influenced this artist, so you know, should he get money for some of the stuff that I sell just because I was influenced by him?
Yeah, I guess it does get a little gray there. But
talk about.
I mean, that's what, I don't know, being an artist is like having different inputs, and I think every artist is going to be different, and that's where you find new inspiring art. It's just somebody's amalgamation. Petey and I could be listening to the exact same stuff that we grew up on and make completely different music. It's all about how you process this information. I just don't think it's interesting for a computer to do that.
Totally.
I hear you.
It's going to happen, but
I agree
I don't
with
think
you.
it's
I agree with you on the artistic side of what you're saying, because there isn't really a reason, other than to, I don't know. Petey's using the generative MIDI stuff.
I do. What's the difference between that? And a lot of the MIDI patterns in my music come from me hitting a dice button, not necessarily from me pinning them in, but I am meticulously selecting parameters that help generate these, and like, where exactly doth the line lie?
Right? Like you kind of move it around.
Yeah.
Talking about just like
there's
something
no
like generated in Ableton, right?
Yeah,
Just
like
something like that.
I hit the thing until I get a melody that's
It's
cool.
all in 12, all the generative art patterns.
I remember PD showed me the connect feature.
Yeah.
Just have two passing chords, and I need a connecting chord.
Yep.
I can literally highlight the two chords, and it'll give me something.
See, and I think that's cool because it takes some of the drudgery out of memorizing music theory, stuff like that, and maybe opens up being creative to more people who don't exactly have that knowledge.
Yeah.
Like I can be insanely expressive.
Well, and even to that point, you can go all the way down the end of the line there, because you're saying that like the Ableton MIDI generator can help people who don't have a music theory understanding generate better music. Suno is also helping people put records out that are not musicians at all.
Yeah.
Like I saw this this girl on social media or whatever. She's got an account that was, I don't know, she's one of those that talks to the camera and she gives people advice or something like that, right? Not a musician at all. And then like she started posting, hey, so I decided to write some lyrics and I plugged it into an AI, and here's my song about whatever topic, whatever subject. And then eventually like fed it.
That turned into a niche for her.
So she generated a whole album and it's up on Spotify now.
Yeah.
She's now an artist.
Well, don't we all
I
want
guess.
to rush and listen to that? That's so interesting. Wow.
Right, I'm going right now.
Gonna save that. There was a Ben Jordan video. He was publishing stats on Spotify and Suno, and he did a pretty in-depth video on all of that. There's a shocking percentage of music on Spotify that is AI generated.
I believe it.
I might be just butchering this, but I think it was close to like 10%.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I think it's like something insane, like 40% of the music on Spotify has like under 100 plays or something like that. Like huge, like the majority of music on Spotify has basically never been listened to.
Is there a certain section for the AI generated music, or is it just in the pool of?
I don't.
Everything?
It would have to have a way of knowing. I don't think.
Well, there's more lore, which is that Spotify allegedly generated a lot of like lo-fi piano and lo-fi beats and put them into their big playlist, and those songs have millions and millions of plays, so they don't have to pay the artists who make that music.
And it pulls away. It pulls away. It pulls away from the authentic
Actual artists. Yeah.
If you look at it, right, it's more fish in the pond.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's wild to think about. You know?
It is. I mean, it is a very capitalist society.
It is.
You know, if there is a will, there's a more like if there's a way, there's a will.
Especially if the way is like you're telling me we don't have to pay real people.
Yeah.
You know, that's
well, we will do that.
Well, let's try that. Let's try that right now.
Right. Literally, we've been trying to get masters from this person for 6 months, and I can get 50 masters, 100 tracks in a month that are perfectly done and ready to go. I mean, shoot, we talk about cutting costs and capitalism.
But it's going to be shitty robot music that nobody wants to listen to, at least this year.
But what if that becomes normal, man?
Yeah, it's wild.
Like, hip-hop used to have a certain standard.
Yeah. But I'm saying, you know, this is just like, your technology's not there yet, but the technology is inside of your brain. You should go interpolate all your favorite artists and become like, you know, like the AI is not smart enough to do it yet, but you are. You know, you can handle taking all your influence and making beautiful art out of it. We've got the whole world to
self-expression, and that is just really what it is. That is what the AI cannot, I guess, really duplicate you.
Not yet.
Not until you upload your brain into the cloud, and then it could probably make music.
I'm ready
how
for
you
that.
interpret it. But
Trust
until
me,
then,
Michelle.
it can't make you. So be you and do you.
I'm on the other end. I'm like, live on a farm, get goats.
Yeah.
No more internet, nothing.
I have thoughts of that life too. You know, waking up to the rooster.
Yeah.
No, I want to have my consciousness forever live on the internet.
Okay.
All right.
On that note, speaking of technology,
Petey clicks.
is it time for the tech tip?
Go see the hologram.
That's my
of
tech
Petey
tip.
Click.
We have an actual tech tip.
This week's sponsor, Neuralink.
So let's say you're listening to a track and you hear a really great sounding kick or snare or some other sound, and you're like, oh man, I want to use something that's kind of like that in one of my projects. Well, ever since Ableton introduced their similar sound search, there's a pretty cool little trick I've been using to help me search through my library of samples to find sounds that are similar to the ones that I'm hearing. Let me show you. So to do this, you're going to want to load the track that contains the sound you'd like to find something similar to into Ableton, and then try to find an isolated instance of whenever that sound happens. For example, this is my flip of Stuntin' Like My Daddy, and I found this one fairly isolated kick right here. There's a little bit of vocal hiss at the end and on top of it as well. Nothing I can really do about that, but I'm going to just fade the edge of it to try and clean it up, and then I'll find the front of the kick and make a little splice right there. Still some of that air on top. If I really wanted to, I could come in here and try to EQ it out. I'm not too worried about that for right now. I'm going to press Command J and consolidate this, and now I want to load a drum rack. So once I have my drum rack loaded onto a new MIDI channel, I can drag and drop this onto one of the cells and then press the sound match button, which is this little guy right here. You click that, and all of a sudden the cell has an arrow on it that wasn't there before. If I press this arrow, what it's going to do is search through my entire library of samples, everything that I have over here in the browser, and try to find a kick that is similar sounding to this one. I really like to use this for snares. So here's a somewhat isolated snare from the same track. I'm going to consolidate that, drag it into another cell, and see what I can find in my library. I love using this feature to search through parts of my sample library that I might not normally think to look in. And sometimes it's really fun to throw in sounds that aren't percussion and just kind of see what you find. I'm just going to grab a chunk of the basses from this. Maybe like right up until the snare. So we'll just take this little bit of it and drag this into the drum rack and see what we get. Pretty good. Hope this makes searching through your sample library a little bit easier and a little bit more fun. Enjoy.
John K. What a genius.
John.
Dope. That's
What
a
a
great feature.
That guy's a genius.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah, he's very smart.
It's me as somebody who like sifts through samples all day long to try to find the perfect one. Seriously, to be able to isolate and like tone filter. That's a game changer for sure.
That is.
I've been using XO for like 5 or 6 years.
It's kind of in 12 now.
Yeah.
Oh.
So and then like my workflow is kind of in XO, so I don't really. I haven't really gotten into this the sounds like the similar sounds thing.
Don't change your workflow.
Well,
yeah.
Does XO have like all the colors?
It's like
yeah,
the red,
blue.
The map.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It's a cool plugin.
Man, this has been an awesome episode, man.
Yeah,
we
should
didn't
have Chaz on again.
Man, we should.
I would come back. Thanks for having
we
me.
had a whole other agenda. We had more industry news to talk about. Didn't even get into it because it was such an organic, great discussion. Thank you for everybody who popped in. Thank you for all your questions, comments, everybody that popped into the Zoom. It was just a great discussion today.
Yeah.
We going out on a ponder?
We do.
Come on, PD's Ponders, let's get it.
We were talking about space in Artist Mindset this week, so it's hard to hear your inspiration when you fall asleep to podcasts every night. You know, you're just constantly turning on Family Guy so you can eat your Chick-fil-A. Maybe you should just listen.
Just turn everything on.
Yeah.
I definitely
Put your hands in your pockets, look outside the window. Like I said last week, you know. Invite the inspiration in.
Stop stuffing your existence with
totally
constant connectivity.
Sensory overload.
Yeah.
Next time you want to put some music on or put something on the TV, just sit in silence and invite inspiration into your mind.
Right. See how long you could really sit in silence with yourself, and that should tell you how patient you really are and how much space you really allow yourself to have.
And if it's super hard for you, you might need to try a couple days in a row, but eventually it'll be okay.
Artist Mindset.